Hey guys, it's Sarah with Grassroots Evolution Tarot, and I'm here today to bring you a message I felt strongly called to do. So for all my subscribers, I love, love, love you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thanks for stopping by, and if you'd like to see more when I can post, please hit subscribe. Join this journey with me. I'd love to have you along the ride. So I'm going to throw that one down because I didn't see it. But before I get into these cards, I'd like to ask Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, my team of light, and any of your guides that would be here for the highest good of the entire collective to join us. I ask them to guide, guard, bless, and protect myself, this reading, and any of you who would ask for it, to use me as the clearest channel possible, as well as delivering messages, again, that are just for the farthest reaching, but for the highest good of everyone. No second-rate messages here today. And no matter what messages come through, again, remember, it's still up to you, your discerning nature, your active free will. Honor here is at the bottom, but just the choices you make and the steps you take in your world to get whatever fruition or whatever it is you'd like to see come into fruition, whatever those goals are, is still up to you and how you proceed in life and how you move forward. That's what I want to say, okay? So I have a few things that have come up here just to show you. We have the Maiden of Vessels, which is the Queen of Cups. The Maiden of Pipes in the background, in the reverse here with this Five of Cups with the Warrior Woman. What had fallen out, and this, by the way, is the Sword of Light Oracle by Radley Valentine. But what came out was prioritizing self-care. And I love that that's come out here with this Queen of Cups, because to me this really, really speaks of, it feels like heart and home, okay? It feels like ourselves, and it feels like doing things that are going to nourish ourselves. Also important, it feels like for this, they're like, it's part of this is carrying water, especially with the cups there as well, right? That there's a lot of changes in how we do things I feel like for some of us, this is how we protect our heart as well. And the Maiden of Pipes, it's the fire element of the Wands. I do feel like there may be something right now, okay, this being reversed, like, this may be a time to relax, to rest, recharge, and what they also said was rejuvenate. So, number 24, prioritize self-care. You do so much for others. It's time to experience the love you deserve and let others help you. And for some of you, I do think this is important because it may be us that, you're so used to carrying the weight of emotions. And one thing I heard, especially if you are like a caregiver to young kids, or there's a lot of us, I feel like we become the mothers to our friend group in certain, in your families or whatnot, where you're caring for the emotional needs of others as well. And here's where it's really important to allow others to take care and mother you. Okay, it may be something difficult as well here. This feels like kind of like an internalized wound, almost, where it's like we want to let other people help us, but I feel like there's been probably conflict around that situation in the past. And to me as well, with this, the Maiden of Pipes, it being in reverse, it also speaks to me as there's a point of something where peace has not come back. Okay, this could be a lot of things. For me, I'm seeing with the Maiden of Vessels, it could be Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, like a water sign, and you could have a fire sign here, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, where there's something in here just not working so well. What also it could be for, I feel like also, is that they're coming at me with this Maiden of Pipes would be to do, right? That fire energy to get things done. And it does feel like a lot like in this is asking you to maybe do a little bit less. So they're giving me examples of, like, if you are feeling burnout, or if you're feeling tired and overwhelmed and like there's just too much on your plate and there's only one of you. They're like, you know what? You can only do so much. There's only so much that you are capable of doing. As well as there's only so much that they gave me what they said was emotional freedom, financial freedom. Okay, those are what I heard. But it's also, there's only so much you're capable of and holding on to that you may need to share the load. They are, like I said, with this almost internalized thing. It's like there's a place where I want to say what it feels like to me is that self-worth. And this kind of feels a lot like a boomer kind of generation, or something that would have been very, very strongly not preached, but ingrained in that boomer mentality and going forward of like work ethic. And that's important to have a strong work ethic. But this to me feels like that it's tied in with self-worth. That if you are not being quote unquote productive, that there may be lots of feelings of guilt for not being able to do things, not being able to get things done. So they're giving me some things with this self-care as well, because the words I heard are burnout. I'll be honest, myself, that resonates for me. I've kind of been experiencing burnout. And the thing is, when you get that burnout, they're giving me this point where it's so important to mother yourself, to take care of yourself, and to, again, let other people help, because you cannot do it all on your own. And they're also giving me that when we get so stuck in this ways, for some of you, it's like a hyper-vigilant trauma response of doing everything yourself, because there have been strings and stipulations attached to help in the past. So they're so much easier just to do it yourself, because that's not going to get all muddled up in there, right? That's definitely in the reverse. So Sanat Kumara, and this is the Divine Masters by Kyle Gray. Sanat Kumara came out with signs, codes, downloads, and sacred information. Last night and in the next couple of days, you'll be experiencing the full moon energy that we just had. And I do believe it was a full lunar eclipse last night. So there's a lot of things changing, a lot of things being brought to light. And I do feel like this is going to be a place where it's going to be so important on our hearts, on our heart chakras. Because what's happening as well is I feel like for some of you, the exhaustion, okay, that's one of the words I'm hearing, or being it's a different word I'm trying to think of, but basically anyway, the depletion of your energy, that's what it is. And you'll start with a D, but this is also coming down through with downloads and sacred information and light codes. So especially if you are a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, or you have water in your chart, you're going to feel the pull of that moon. And this could be really moving some emotions around as well. For some of you, I heard for some of you, there could be damaging emotions as well. Or there's something, it's not that emotions themselves are damaging. It's that there's been something that, it's still causing you heartache and pain. Thank you. So we have the Three of... I want to call these swords for a joint effort. And if you look at this, they are working as a team to procure nourishment. This comes right back to letting other people help you and working as a team and working together. I think it's important to look at not the weapon used, because that's there, but it's because there is an importance in that. And there is an importance as well in this. I feel like this is an important image as well to remind us all that, this is how sustenance and people, like, there is a real importance on a very, very carnal, like a very right now, right here, to eat, right? To work together. For some of you, this is maybe going hunting together, but this is also cooking together. And the things that you find are overwhelming and the things that you are having a lot of struggle doing, and maybe this energy is kind of in the reverse, this is again reminding you it's a joint effort. Your family, your household, being open communication, and I heard also open lines of thought on what's happening, because, it really is time for, you to... Heard sacred information, but this is almost that sacred help too. They're like, it may be spirit who's coming in and spirit who's helping you. To me, this does feel like a very physical doing. Okay, something that it's like whatever it is that needs to be lightened up. They're like, it is really unburden yourself and unburden your heart and accept help. Ask for help when you need it. Now, another thing I feel is that they're telling me that maybe some of us have asked for help in the past. And those that we asked were not in a place where they were able to do that, or they were not able to show up for us in the way that we needed. And we have pregnancy here. This is the Four of Cups as well. Some of you could be pregnant, definitely. where I was getting and where I was picking up on this too, it really felt like to me also kind of like, especially if you have young children, right? Or if you are a caregiver, caring for, elderly grandparents, elderly parents, or just, someone who is maybe lacking the capacity completely to take care of themselves. There's a lot of exhaustion there. And it's very rewarding, but there's exhaustion there. Whether this be a baby and this is pregnancy and a new idea, but this feels also like a new life. So again, for some of you, pay attention if you could possibly be with child or becoming with child, because that's definitely here. And this is a joint effort, right? It takes two. It takes two people, to have that. So I feel like as well, if that's there, it is really important to have open discussions with your partner as well, especially if it's a first baby, on, make what are your viewpoints on, what does it look like, right? What does parenting look like to them? Is there pre-ideas of gender roles, etc., right? Because parenting, and like I said, I was getting like this Gen Xer thing, there's a whole huge difference between the parenting styles, right? Especially as well, I feel like if you are pregnant, or if there's a potential that you could be pregnant, this is also a really important time that you're going to need that self-care for yourself, taking care of yourself, making sure you're putting good food in your body, making sure that you're getting enough exercise, prioritizing your sleep, and as well as what I'm hearing is prioritizing your nervous system, making sure that your nervous system is as healthy as it can be, which means cutting out some stressors. And this is not only if you're finding yourself pregnant, but kind of reducing the stress and reducing your cortisol levels is going to be really, really important. I feel like in the next, they give me even 12 months to a year is what I heard. But that just, in this next little while, it's going to be really important to try and, they said, just to keeping your nervous system calm. Okay, so they're giving me things like if you know that you drink too much coffee or caffeine, or if certain things are kind of bothering your digestive system, or if when you eat things, or if it's alcohol or anything like that, if you're finding that certain things are contributing to the anxiety or contributing to a dysregulated nervous system, these are things where we also, again, prioritizing self-care, want to be aware of this, because these are patterns that we can change ourselves, okay, and things that we can do ourselves. So I want to show you what the bottom of this deck was, and that was Honor, which we saw at the beginning as well with the Four of Wands, or pipes, but the wand, the fire. And I feel like this is important as well with the Four, because while there are wands all around them, they are in peace talks. They are within talk. And you can tell here as well, it's not just, there's a trapper sitting with, the natives in this picture. And yes, definitely a feeling of distrust there, somewhat. But also, the Four of Wands is your ships coming in, celebration, marriage. And this here, to me, maybe it's not marriage, but this is a coming together of viewpoints and an understanding, okay? So, they want me to show you the bottom here, which is Metatron and Sindolphin, and sacred connections, synchronicity, divine connection, understanding lessons. And it is important to remember, I feel like, that you are a divine conduit. You may be getting a lot of information. They said in your sleep. For some of you, you may not remember your dreams. If you do remember anything, or if you have a feeling or something that's unexplained when you wake up, write it down, because these are messages coming through the divine. Also, on the sort of light oracle, the bottom is trust the guidance you're receiving. Archangel Uriel has blessed you with a brilliant epiphany. I am also present to clear away your worries so you can trust your divine guidance. And this is going to be really important again over the next little while. This is, to me, a lot of coming into union with yourself. This could be coming into union with partnership. And this also could be bringing another life into this world. So ensuring that you are within union within yourself. That is one of the most important things for us, I feel like, is for yourself to kind of sit there in your own divine union and your being whole, right? Knowing that there is the physical you here, the spiritual you, the emotional you, and being able to honor all of those parts of yourself into one. And as well as they're going to give me the last thing before I let you go is just that please, please, please don't feel guilty for taking the rest that you need and taking the time to heal your body and to heal your nervous system. They're telling me things like the dishes can wait, okay? There are things that, yes, keeping your house tidy and clean and your workspace kind of uncluttered is very good for your mental health. But if your pure exhaustion is saying, I cannot do that right now, they're like, don't force the issue. Go rest, lay down, or do whatever you need to do to recharge, and then go do it. And they're also giving me these, okay, just as some advice for anyone, and don't take it if you don't want it, but they're giving me this, when you find yourself feeling like, you've got to do a few things, they're like, don't burn yourself out again once you come out of this burnout by doing so much that you are then exhausted and depleted all your energies, okay? Last thing is what I'm going to say, and this is especially true if you are neurodivergent or anything like that, but they gave me protecting your executive function, okay? So if we only have so much energy within a day. And I know I'll give you this as my example. I know that there are times where if I push and push and push and push and push myself to a point where I'm then at dinner time, I know I need to cook dinner. And I was like, boom, the freeze mode happens. Like, and I end up ordering pizza or something like that. And this is even in my own world, being like, do not push yourself past the point where those things that are necessary have to happen aren't able to because you used up that energy in other places. They're also giving me the importance of creating joy in your world and making sure that you do things that aren't considered work as well. That's the message I have. I hope it resonated. I love you all. I hope you all take care of yourself. Remember to prioritize your self-care, your nervous system, and also your mental health. They're giving me that as well, okay? Get enough rest, get enough activity, and treat yourself with respect. Treat yourself with all the love and care that you would if, gonna get me emotional here, but if your kid or your baby or, your loved one comes up to you and they're exhausted, you would tell them to rest, right? Let me take a load off. This is where you need to give that advice to yourself as well. So again, I love you all, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.